Imagine opening the door to your house after a long day at work or school and being overwhelmed by the smell of freshly baked cookies. Nothing melts the day's stress away like a freshly baked treat. Today I will be talking about how to properly bake and prepare chocolate chip cookies. Ever since I was a little girl, I always enjoyed baking, and everyone in my family has different recipes for how to bake chocolate chip cookies. So I've tasted and tried a lot of chocolate chip cookies, more than I'd like to admit. There are 3 simple steps to baking chocolate chip cookies, beginning with gathering the ingredients, preparing the dough, and then baking them for the correct time and at the correct temperature. First, in order to make chocolate chip cookies, you must gather all of the ingredients that make this possible. These include flour, baking soda, salt, butter, brown sugar, vanilla extract, eggs, and finally, chocolate chips. Although some of the ingredients may seem like a small amount in the recipe, they are all important to the composition of the cookie. Everything matters when it comes to a recipe. I know this from personal experience because when I baked a batch of chocolate chip cookies one time, I replaced vanilla extract with almond extract, and the cookies were almost inedible. Unbeknownst to me, almond extract is a lot sweeter than vanilla extract, and it made the cookies taste way too sweet, and they didn't even taste like chocolate chip cookies. Therefore, again, every ingredient is important, and you must gather all of them before beginning to bake cookies. After you have gathered all of the ingredients, you must then correctly combine them to form the dough that you will then bake to create a chocolate chip cookie. The most important and the second step in baking a perfect chocolate chip cookie is to combine the ingredients completely to form a dough. In one bowl, you will first mix the dry ingredients, which include baking soda, salt, and flour. In a second and slightly larger bowl, you will mix the wet ingredients, which include butter, both white and brown sugar, eggs, and the vanilla extract. Then you must sift the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients, which requires the use of a sifter. A sifter is a small metal bowl with very small holes at the bottom that help the dry ingredients to incorporate into the wet ingredients better by making them more fine. You will first start by putting a small amount of the dry ingredients into the sifter, shaking it over the wet ingredients, and stirring them together until all of your dry ingredients have been incorporated. Finally, you will then fold in the chocolate chips and your dough is complete. If you are planning on baking soon, heap tablespoons onto a baking tray and you will be ready to bake. Following these easy steps to combine all the different parts makes a perfect chocolate chip cookie. After you've combined the ingredients, you must then bake them. The third and final step in this process is baking cookies for the correct amount of time and at the correct temperature. Usually a recipe will call for a 350-degree oven and for cookies to be baked for 8 to 10 minutes. However, I disagree with this. I think that cookies should be baked at 330 degrees and for 10 to 12 minutes. I learned this tip from Martha Stewart, who is a baking expert and who has created more recipes than you can count. Baking cookies at this temperature for this length allows them to cook more thoroughly and for them to not burn and to be brown around the edges and soft on the inside. If you follow these steps correctly, you will then have a perfect chocolate chip cookie in 10 to 12 minutes. In summary, baking chocolate chip cookies is a simple, easy process with 3 steps. First, you must gather the ingredients, second, you must combine them, and finally, you must bake them correctly. If you follow all of these steps, then you will be able to enjoy a perfect cookie every time. I hope that the next time that you choose to enjoy a delicious sweet, you choose to employ this method. Following this concise method, you will never be disappointed.